condolences to them. But they did have a good enough T-side against Luminosity. So actually, that said, when we have witnessed Luminosity's CT sides on the internets, on the interwebs, on the intertubes, it has been quite impressive. So if they're able to carry the same kind of structure and routines into this match, they should be okay.
Sunny hasn't bought anything at all. He has $800 in the bank, which is, I wonder if he's forgotten, if he was distracted by a fly or what exactly is going on there. Got the T's trying to make a gauntlet run into the vents. One person made it down, but is that person carrying the bomb? There goes Rops as well, but Stiko's got the bomb, and where is Stiko? I don't know that. Okay, he's planting at the back of the site. Eventually. There we go. Bomb's being planted. 3 versus 1 now as Showtime gets picked off, and Yell hasn't been detected just yet. There's a player in control room. He doesn't have a kit, trying to draw out these T's now. Will they face? It seems they are non-believers. Oscar with a slow flank. And he will take out Yell from the back, and Stiko gets some bonus money.
That's going to be a mistake, right? Just not buying anything at all on the pistol. I mean, there's no plus really for that. There's like no real plus.
I eco in pistol rounds to buy AWP.
Well, the things that you do, James.
What I've started doing actually, what I've started doing in pistol rounds is buying a P250 or a P250 and a flash. So I leave $700 in the hole. Sorry, $300. So worst case scenario, if I get no kills and lose a pistol round, I can buy a scout in the next round. If I'm like CT on cash, then I'll do that a lot. Oscar with 1 HP. So they've gone full rifles Mousesports. They're looking for a fast round, but Oscar might want to hide in T-spawn now and hope his teammates clean up the rest of the round, because 1 HP on Nuke, you're going to take a bullet. You are going to take a bullet.
Yeah, it's not ideal. It gets weird as well for Mousesports because, okay, sure, the AK is great outside, but you'd love to have a Mag-10 or a UMP or just some running gun weapon for these close quarters situations, which inevitably you have to go in towards. Obviously, this position Stiko is going into in like CT heaven. If you do get a player or two in there with an AK, then you can sort of lock down the entire upper site, secure the rounds. But it does, I think, hinge on that, and there can be players playing the close positions on the heaven. So, again, I feel like it'd be great to have some SMGs, but we'll see if they can make this one work. PKL is... how patient will he be? Well, Sunny might convince PKL to go for the push. Indeed, that kill did sort of initiate the action, and Mousesports will be cleaning up. They have not lost a single player. That is pretty damn impressive, considering they had a lack of utility and a lack of more or less anything to deal with the CZs at close ranges.
Yeah, that's pretty solid. Not losing a single player yet against a force buy on Nuke. Especially when Oscar went down to 1 HP more or less immediately. 2k for Oscar. So I said he will take a bullet. Perhaps he won't, but he's going to have to go very far to avoid this bomb blast. Where is Oscar at the moment? Can we have a look?
Have you taken a bullet, James?
I think he'll still die from this position. I got shot in my Adam's apple by a paintball gun once.
I was going to say, like...
From...
yeah, that doesn't sound fun
knows.
at all.
Ooh.
Is that why your voice is so deep?
That's not why.
Okay.
But yeah, I took a paintball bullet to the Adam's apple from about 50 meters, which wasn't nice. And actually, in the same game, I was lying on the floor pretending to be shot, because it was like it was at the end. It was like a battle royale, so I just pretended I was out and waited till there was one person left and shot him. But the instructor guy was clearing a gun and shot me in the gonads as well. So that was a fun day.
Cojones.
Yeah.
That is not fun. Paintball is very painful.
Yeah, it is. Especially when you're so big that they don't have overalls for you that fit. So you get the chafing going on as well. So
hitboxes are too big, James.
It's just not fun. Yeah.
That's a...
My hitboxes are way too big.
Yeah, that's a pretty big disadvantage.
I think my head hitbox would be like bigger than Moses' torso.
Oh, another great round from Mousesports, pretty explosive, and they'll make things work. Did lose an AK to Neckers. I wonder if he'll be... I mean, he should be trying to save this, really. Luminosity have a pretty awful situation on their hands. And I'll have to see whether or not they can string together some rounds here, because this is kind of a scary prospect, having a bad start to the CT side. I mean, generally Nuke is about like how well you... like how many rounds you get on your CT side, right? Because generally speaking, it's very difficult, or can be very difficult on the T side. It's much easier in this edition of Nuke, of course, but at the same time, I think this map has been not as developed as many other maps. You know, a lot of teams just don't play it. Many teams just drop it, continue, like, repeatedly. We see tournaments where Nuke has not even played once. So that means that a lot of teams haven't prepared the T side as much as they would have prepared the T side on Mirage, or, you know, the more classically played maps. So it's kind of get tricky.
Interestingly, Yell had just enough money for the AWP. Someone's dropped him a CZ as well. But that's curious. We used to see this from Kenny a lot. When his team had lost a pistol round, he'd end up naked with the AWP. Nuke has the ranges, so this is okay. He won't be so exposed to grenades as he might be on other maps, but look at the hunts. There's a player in the garage, and that's going to be a surprise for Yell. He's going to have no idea. Sonny has a flashbang from a teammate, and Yell can't escape. Tries to transfer the spray. Robs takes down Cello elsewhere, but Stiko's close. He did run and jump a little bit. I don't know, though, if he was heard in all that gunfire. Showtime trying to reposition towards the lobby, and he may just at least get into that position before he's spotted from the high ground, but he's got nowhere to hide. His teammates have been wiped out. They've been erased from history in this round. Nobody will remember them. 4-0 Mousesports.
I think for Mousesports too, you know, when they're starting to win a lot of these duels, these 1v1s, and they can be more confident in their sort of individual play. Things really change massively for them, because I feel like, you know, that is such a big part of their game. Also, just Oscar feeling the freedom that everything is not on his shoulders. He doesn't have to have huge rounds. You know, that makes him more dangerous. And nice, we're going to see Chris on the MAC-10. You know, anticipating an awful buy in the lack of helmets. MAC-10 is a perfect choice to be the front man, the guy that can go for the running gun. Now, it's a pretty nicely timed nade. Chunk of damage done to Sonny. But again, Chris ready with that MAC-10. Love that smoke grenade. That's beautiful. It's going to allow them to just move straight in through the dangerous choke points. Chris will go down to Nakis' deagle, but they have picked up the control of a ramp. And this is that classic sort of CT maneuverability where, you know, your rotations, it's all about controlling the spaces that the Ts have to move to. And you can absolutely give up ramp, that's fine. You still have like the CTs still get all the advantages on the rotations because the sites are stacked on top of each other. That's a unique element to this map.
The jingle of Dan's cocktail disturbs the silence of Nuke. Mousesports waiting around the ramp. This looks dangerous for them. Neckers with one, another one. Can he get the third? Oscar dancing around trying to get something back, but the pistols are going absolutely nuclear in this round for Luminosity. And there it is, only one person killed, but how many weapons can they collect? That is very key as well. 3 AKs in that round, and that's going to give them extra money, as we mentioned. If you win a round on an eco, when you put your loss bonus, well, your loss bonus is irrelevant at that point, but if you win a round on an eco, look how much money they have left. It basically stretches your economy. So if they were to lose this round, they may get an extra buy in the next round. But they surely realize they can't lose any more rounds in this situation.
Damn. That is a huge swing of value. Let's see what they can do with it. Oscar's picked up the AWP. Rops fast through door. The squeaky door is no longer a door. The squeak has been eliminated by the grenade. Rops in a great position there, able to capitalize. And this is going to be very chaotic now for Luminosity. They have to really adjust to all these forward positions as we get the split coming in through main at the same time. Rob's still holding on to this position. Showtime has a lot of 1v1s potentially coming his way, but the attention will be quickly turned into the flank as Riel was trying to wither the numbers with that AWP. Showtime playing the position really well, and we'll have Mousesports having to funnel themselves down through the vents here to go down to the lower side. So Luminosity doing pretty well despite a chaotic start.
PKL spotted the second player. I don't know if he spotted the first, but they start to move in, slowly creeping. SWAT team is en route. Chris J's got an AK. In fact, 4 of these 5 players do, so we'll see who gets the headshot first. Lovely shot from Chris J. Very patient with the second one as well. No crazy spray from him. Very focused on the job he has to do. Neckers with some pre-fry, trying to figure out where these players will be. He knows where Chris J is, but where is the other one? He has no kit, Neckers, and that may be part of his decision in backing off right now. So the worst has happened. They've lost another round. He's running over the bomb, Knickers. So I do hope he gets away in time. Oh dear. Okay, he's perfectly fine. He's absolutely fine. But he does get shot from Stico, so he's not fine anymore. But again, because they won on the eco, look at the money. They can buy again. They're able to stretch their money for another buy.
Yeah, that was a really nice round by Chris, saving the day for the team. Down to a 2v3, and they come out on top. And as you say, a bit of money left over for Luminosity, but the reset will put them in to a pretty awful position should they lose this round, which I mean, it's obviously not favored to win it, but see if they're able to get some damage in and give themselves a good chance. Again, we see this forward smoke on Squeaky down again, and I think, you know, some rounds you're going to see Rups or, you know, one of the Mousesports players push it, and other rounds it's going to be there, but there will be no player there. Just having that sort of constant sort of doubt in that position for Luminosity is going to be annoying to deal with. So I like that little detail there, and Rups will actually get a pick off. I think that was actually through Squeak. I think it was. Now Cello forced to go a bit aggressive here. They need to take some risks. Oh, this is big. So a good catch from Cello. He can fall back. Where's the trade? He knows that they could be looking for it. Gets caught inside, and Rups indeed from Squeaky will catch him off.
Cello was aware of how compromised he was there, but what can he really do about it? Oscar trying to contain PKL and does a good job. This is an absolute disaster for Luminosity. A brief ray of hope with the bomb falling at the feet of Showtime, but the sun quickly went back behind the clouds as the rest of Mousesports collapsed on him. 6-1. They've been reset. I mean, arguably they were reset in the previous round, but they had the extra money, but now they don't. Luminosity, this is looking like an absolute disaster for them.
I really love the smokes at Squeaky. I just love how that's working out for Mousesports right now. Or for Rups, at least. He's the guy that's making the plays from it. Don't have to do it this round. They know that they're against an eco. And we saw big confidence previously from the anti-ecos at Mousesports. We get this time an SMG, which is, again, great against the pistols. You can use that guy as a sacrificial lamb through the choke points. Create space for the riflers. It's going pretty well so far for Mousesports. They have lost a man, but they've gained so much ground. It doesn't matter too much.
So Oscar's position is often a strong one when you're on an anti-eco, because you don't want to, like if your teammates are outside, for example, you don't want to commit, you don't want to be too deep in the lobby position, especially on your own. If there is a hut push, for example, if there is a ramp push, then you can get caught in isolation. But if you're in that position Oscar was in, then you're able to use the walls to get 1v1s, to back off, to outside, to reposition as well. So if you're on an anti-eco or anti-force buy and you're playing on Face It or wherever, then it's a good position to have with an AK. If your teammates are focusing on the outside area, just don't go too deep if there's no one to pull you out.
Is that why you always dive with a partner, James?
Absolutely.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Do you find it hard to get good partners to dive with?
Yeah, because no one else in our crew dives, so I always go on my own. Sometimes I end up paired with...
Do you dive with silvers, James?
sometimes I do, which is quite dangerous, actually. Very dangerous. More for them. But you don't want to be babysitting silvers.
Dangerous for matchmaking as well. He's smashing stuff. Well, I guess you need to get some matchmaking in the diving world as well. Them MMRs. Well, it's... do we see that squeaky play from Rups again? I'm not sure how Rups died there, but anyway. It's going to be a much needed advantage. L pushing the issue outside. Wow, catching a pixel of Oscar's face. PKL now with some 1v1s at hand. It's not going to really go too well for him. So some salvation here for Mousesports as they found some space, but it's very predictable what they're going to do from this position. So they essentially just have to hit some fantastic shots. And there we go. That's a good start.
AK prevailing. He moved pretty quickly after getting that pick. They knew they had to. But that does give information to PKL on a death cam. But still, Luminosity just now streaming in to the ramp position. Does Showtime see Chris J? Uses the smoke to disappear after being spotted, so maybe that will give them an extra man in this situation. Stico around control, but with 11 HP, he's got to be careful. Doesn't want to overexpose himself. Showtime looking for him. He'll use the sound cues to gain more confidence. Spotting Cello now. He knows where one of the 2 players remaining are. And Chris J just standing there, just watching the bomb and getting that kill onto Yell. So Luminosity are being shut out of this. They really are. They're outside. They're in the cold. They're looking in through the window. This is not good for the Brazilians.
No, it is really... I was just looking at the score and just sort of really thinking this is this is really, really bad. Really, really, really bad. I mean, sometimes you do see it where like you have these very unexpected, like super strong T sides on a nuke, and then somehow the other team does it as well. Like, and just like no one wins any CT rounds in an entire match. Like that does happen sometimes, but it just does seem very unlikely that Mousesports would be unable to get some rounds on the CT side. Playing against the anti-eco as they've done many times previously in this match. And it's going pretty well for them still. And the money is pretty damn good, I imagine, for Mousesports at this point. So, indeed.
I like the awareness from Sunny. He quickly grabs the bomb from a precarious situation, and he could just run away and just move into a site with his teammates, but instead he throws it to a place where his teammates can pick it up if necessary, and just focuses on holding that position and that area for his team, keeping what's known. I use PKL to try and get anything done, but he won't get much of anything. 1 round is not enough on your CT side of Nuke. Luminosity with another opportunity to add to that, to double their score.
Okay, so if there is a time to turn this game around, it is now for Luminosity. Yell's got the AWP, they've got full set of grenades on everybody, more or less, and we have 4 M4s. So the buy is solid for Luminosity, and they take the pause. They take the pause to try to figure out what the hell to do. And one of the things that I think are sort of forced to respond to is the way that Rops has been playing Squeaky, because I think it's only been one time that Rops has failed in sort of his play around that position with the smoke grenade. And they blow up the door, he throws a forward smoke, creates a spot where he could push in behind the vent, or he could hold outside of it, but essentially it sort of destabilizes the main player a little bit, and potentially the guy on top of the HUD as well. It creates a bit of movement for the CTs, and that dynamic has worked well for Mousesports so far. Of course, the prospect of Oscar on an AWP. It's never a fun thing to play against either. And here we see it once again. This time Chris actually moving forwards with it. Ooh, through the smoke! Ooh, big play. Will they expect it? No! They don't expect it at all. What a fantastic innovation there from Chris.
That is very interesting indeed, and these kind of unusual, unorthodox, this dark magic we're seeing from Mousesports is really breaking Luminosity. How do you react to that? How do you even communicate what's going on? There's a guy through main, outside. It's crazy, but it's a 2 versus 1, and Yell is the man alive. Although, without the numbers advantage, he'll drop the AWP and opt for the AK. Bomb is down. No kit once again. Time is against him.
It really is. He does have full utility, but he has to predict the players' positions, and it is all about sort of guesstimation at this point. You've got to just commit, and he commits to the peek onto Squeaker. That was a fairly safe one. It's going to work out pretty well. There's one grenade trying to eliminate the possibilities. It's a game of deduction here for Yell as he goes for the tap, and again, such an awkward site to try to retake. Stico on the high ground, and Yell, he did as much as he could, but it's 10-1 for Mousesports, and then once again they're going to be against a half buy. Luminosity are in such trouble. Love this play from Chris. This was amazing to see. It's a really good sort of, like, maybe that's like a once in a T side in a match sort of play from that smoke, but it was a good timing for it.
Yeah, indeed it was. Positioning himself to catch people on the rotation when they might still be drawing their gun, because you're never going to have a T in that situation, until now at least. Pistols, a familiar story for Luminosity in this half. They are being dominated at the moment. Mousesports with presence outside, slowly edging forwards. We may see some Molotovs towards PKL's position. Well, for now, Oscar will hold the angle. Not a single grenade at this point of the round for Luminosity. purely close quarters play with the CZ, so that's what they would hope for. But it's up to Mousesports to decide what they get.
A lot of tension here for both sides. Slow start to it, but there it comes. When it rains, it pours. Here, 2 frags immediately for Mousesports outside. There's really not a huge amount of opportunity or options really for the side of Luminosity. Just having these pistols, just sort of waiting for the AKs to peek into you is not the best spot to be in. Nekis will get a consolation frag and an AK collected as well. But at this point, I don't know what Luminosity really need to change. Mousesports are having so much success. Nekis is going to make a go over here. Just actually making the play. Has no HP and will be chased down. Chris with the frag. And that's 11 rounds for Mousesports now. James, it's getting really out of control. Really out of control.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the most they can hope for is 11-4. If they can get 4 rounds at the very least, and then perhaps they can have a repeat of what we're seeing from Mousesports here. Perhaps they will show their prowess on the T side. Right now, they're not being able to show us anything whatsoever apart from 6 million ways to die, choose one. So again, they've got the utility, they've got Yell on the AWP, but do they have more than that? PKO in a strong position. There's a gap in the smoke. Does he engage the first player? I don't know if the T's will necessarily look in this direction, but Oscar was swinging his AWP around, so PKO will take the shot, trying to back off now. 2 kills for him. Maybe more than you could ask for in a situation.
He's going all in. At this point, going to try to double down, knowing that he's in such a forward and known position that he just has to try to make another play, get another frag if he can. But he's done enough. I mean, a 1 for 2 is always going to be good. 4v3 for the CT side. Luminosity with a round where they actually have an advantage. We haven't seen many of those. Suddenly, though, equalizing the situation, and Chris finds a Curious Yell. Curiosity killed the cats. Now it killed Yell as well. Nekis, the last man, sort of in a not really the greatest position to really have impact here on stopping these T's from taking a bomb site. Oh, man.
Well then.
Oh man.
This is like when you watch a wildlife show, right? And like 2 males are battling for dominance to get the females, and like just one gorilla just beating on the other one. It's like I'm the man right now.
I thought you were gonna say it's more, you know, like a lion like just killing a deer or something.
No. Well,
because that seems like more clearly someone's getting wrecked. So this is like very outmatched. This is unfair.
Yeah, I mean, you can choose, you know.
But I suppose your example was pure brutality.
Choose your own analogy.
Testosterone-filled brutality.
Yeah. Look at that. Equipment value, $15,000 versus $1,450. Oh, sorry, 6,000. I'm reading the wrong bloody thing, aren't I? I'm reading the wrong bloody thing. Oh! 12-1. 12-1.
Yeah. It's like one of those things where, you know, you say it and it's like there's a pause. I mean, there's not really much.
What can you say?
Exactly. What,
yeah,
what
like,
can you say about
Luminosity are on jet skis, but Mousesports are the sea. It ain't safe out there, man. It ain't safe out there. I should have put my... If I had my chest strap for my GoPro, I probably would have actually... It probably would have gone through my chest, to be honest.
Just broken your ribs.
Yeah.
Then you would be, like, basically walking around in that rubber ring.
I was racing around with Matt on day 1 of jet skis, and there was one point where I hit my chest on the bloody wheel. Although Yanko hit his head on the wheel, so at least I got
and Matt bailed.
At least I got away with my chest.
He actually just bailed completely. So
sometimes bailing's not a bad idea.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine it's probably. I mean.
Yeah, it was too late for me. I just didn't realize what was happening. I'm like, why am I still in the air? And then then kapow. Boom, 2,000 faceit points. Nice. I've got some faceit points from winning some cups, but more on that later, or maybe not. 12-1 for Mousesports. Are we going to see a 14-1 half? I think that becomes a question now.
Might become a reality very soon. Rops changing things up a little bit. We saw so many shenanigans around the squeaky door position, but for once, Squeaky is going to be left intact. It's going to be left unharmed. No protrusions through that door. Well, very light presence outside here, although the smokes will potentially convince Luminosity otherwise. Nekis will spot some info towards Rap. He's got to be careful not to die in this position. Now falling back is the play to make as he will be challenged. Finds another 1v1, fancies his chances, but in reality his chances will be dashed by a very confident Mousesports as they progress back onto the lower site. And it's down to Luminosity with subpar weaponry to try to somehow reclaim this bomb site.
Can they get 2 rounds? What a question. Or do they at this point, I mean, is there a conversation if they save to try and get a 2nd round in the last round? Can't really afford to give up anything else. Cello with a pick off there. Sunny lurking, but time is ticking. Cello's the only person with a kit in this situation, so I mean, it's taking so long to make their way into the site. This is suicide. Yell's picked up a kit now, but nobody's on the bomb, and it's too late. And now they're going to lose some of these weapons at the very least. Or maybe not, they both escape at least, but I don't know, man. That was a very slow, laborious retake, and here we are, 1-13.
Oh. Chris, sorry mate, I'm so sorry. Please forgive my trespasses. 13-1 indeed. I don't know. This is. How do you not sound very sad when you say that? I'm very sad. 13-1. I feel the sadness of Luminosity. The sadness. Ooh, so they didn't touch door last round, but they are going to go straight through this time with basically everyone. An explosive display onto the upper site as Showtime looks to get himself something in from that upper position. It's Nekis, though, from Squeak, who will be able to get some value for his team. An additional value from that FAMAS. Actually panning out quite well here for Luminosity, and Stiko and Sunny are very separated, but that's a good spray. Finds a headshot, but they know there's no way Sunny can get there to stop the defuse in time. A round collected by Luminosity, a very late 2nd round. So your question has been answered, James. 2 rounds for Luminosity.
Two rounds. It is a long road to recovery. We have seen comebacks of this magnitude before, so we will not count anybody out, but the margin for error is not very big at all. It's not very big. If they lose the pistol round, it's not the absolute end. Are we going to see a restart here? Perhaps we will. If they lose the pistol round, yeah, we'll see a restart. Someone's got a headset off. If they lose the pistol, they can still reset, and that might give them a fast charge in the early rounds. But still, you don't want to lose any rounds. But we won't count them out until it's over. Black Fox.
Black Fox.
I used to have a Counter-Strike team called Black Fox, actually.
Really?
With my mates, yeah.
I made a Counter-Strike team in Counter-Strike Source, and I called it 5Flow. So I thought it was a pretty good name.
Sounds cool.
Yeah.
Rolls off the tongue nicely.
But then I left the team after a few months because I was like, I can't work with these people. So I left. I was like, I'm the founder. I can't deal with this.
Yeah, my Black Fox team wasn't much of a team. It wasn't my team. I was just part of the team, but I did kind of insist on calling it Black Fox. But my team was called TR. Back in the days when you used to use the brackets and equal signs and hyphens to around your name, mine was called TR. And the R didn't stand for anything, so it was like Team R, but the R, some people called it Team Rocket, some people called it Team R, some people called it Team Raccoon. It was just, yeah. I made an awesome logo for it, though.
In the middle.
A colon in the middle.
A colon. 5:flow. That was a tag.
5:flow.
5:flow.
5:flow. Amazing. Sounds like a group irrigation. Colonic in nature. So here we are, pistol round, 2nd half. Stiko smoking the fuse kit. PKL smoking a flash. Armor for everybody else. Fighting for these headshots, but not quite delivering them. But Cello will do the job. 2 kills for him. Yell down in the meantime. Chris J still with the high ground, and he will be joined by a teammate.
USP's trying to get some action here. This is kind of awkward. You don't really want to be playing with Showtime. He's baiting so heavily. You kind of need to ignore him, actually, in this position. And that's what they're going to try to do, but there are simply too many men. Too many men. Sorry, too many man. Too many man.
I'm still thinking about the fact you had a team called 5:Flow. That's disgusting. 10-round lead for Mousesports. I wonder if some teams in Mousesports' situation right now would just double eco because they've got 13 rounds. They were going for the force buy though. Chris J, I wonder if he's going to be sniping on the CT side because he's got 1350 in the bank.
It's better than Team -R. The R doesn't even mean anything.
It wasn't Team -R, it was just TR. There was no hyphen.
You're talking about hyphens.
No, around the outside. It's like when you used to put your team name in brackets and stuff. So, I'll tell you in a second.
Open parenthesis, close parenthesis.
So it was like bracket, hyphen, equals, TR, equals, hyphen, bracket. Old school name tags, clan tags. 3-on-3, Stikos picks up a Galil. Is the road to success? Is it non-existent? Does the Silk Road, is it a mirage?
What is it paved by, James?
Luminosity?
Is it paved by something?
I don't know, it could be, it might not be paved, it might be...
Should it not be opulent in nature?
It might be paved by the trodden feet of successful teams. On camels, perhaps. But Luminosity on camels. Almost two-man spray down. Rops will clean up. And the Silk Road looking like...
It's frayed.
Yeah, it is. It's being chewed at by cats.
Oh! That peak with the Galil. Hello. That is not what you want. That's a 1v1. You guts to win. You guts to win.
You got to win those.
You got to win that one. But that's a bad miss. And that will be a very bad situation for Luminosity now being back on the pistols. They've lived in pistols, on pistols, with pistols. It's who they are right now. It's who they are. And unfortunately for them, they're not G2, they're not FaZe. They're good with pistols, but they're not gods of the pistols. But let's see if they can use the utility to create some good spots. Perhaps they can get a pickup of one of these AKs. Perhaps they can rob Oscar. Some daylight robbery, perhaps. Well, Seiko will take down Yell. Keep Oscar safe. Must be nice. Having a bodyguard.
MBN must be nice. It's a desperate situation for Luminosity. Very desperate indeed. Sonny with his pick of the litter. But the litter's gone bad. Neckers and Cello remain in a 2 versus 3. There's a minute on the clock and a UMP has been collected. Inferior position for Cello with the UMP versus the AK. And there it is. Match point for Mousesports. Luminosity may be jettisoned into the sea. Launched into the sea. Into the birds. Swallowed by herons.
Doesn't sound like a good way to go. They like swallow you whole. Whilst you're still alive and everything, just sort of writhing around in there. Not a good way to go. Mousesports, they are going to be feeling so good at this point in time. Not having to do anything too special. Their game plan is just working. And once again, Luminosity just having to force buy, Living on pistols. Showtime opening the proceedings with a headshot onto Chris J. And we get some follow-ups as well. Oscar could be in a pretty compromised position now as his front and his flank are exposed. And it's his flank that will be the end of him. Rops, though, with a good position on the high ground, could potentially get some damage in. He needs to get at least a couple kills while Sonny gets himself into position to set himself up for some fragging. And look at how Luminosity have cut noise. They're holding their ground. They're expecting a push. They're waiting for it, but it's not worked for them whatsoever. Oh, God.
Rops just ran in, though. He just ran into that position. They heard him. Maybe they were confused and thought he was outside, but he ran from heaven into that position. He made no bones about it and just charged himself there. And it was a standoff for the longest time. I thought they knew. Maybe they did. Maybe they didn't. I don't know. But Mousesports with a monstrous victory. Very one-sided match of nuke. We didn't see anything from Luminosity at all in that situation. And Mousesports have a much better